I found a claim ticket marked 1010. We claimed the only thing that was lost. Hook. The claim ticket was the color of old lemons and bent like a promise that spent too long in a wallet. On one side, lost and found window B 1010. On the other, in my husband's neat print, phones down, two truths, two questions. Hand on back equals I'm here. No signature, but Jamal never needed one. His handwriting stands up straight and doesn't apologize. My name is Oliver, 35, the kind of technical writer who can make a blender sound like a life transition. Jamal teaches ninth grade algebra and has a whistle he never uses because his eyebrows do the job. We've been married 4 years. Lately our place sounded like a well-managed lobby. Morning. You're good, back soon. Sleep well. Efficient, polite, starving. I found the ticket when I went looking for grocery cash and pulled out history instead. I texted him a photo. You stealing from train stations now. He responded within a minute, which means he was on his prep period. If you bring the ticket at 10:10, they hand you an honest minute, he wrote. Claim window B if you want. The if you want was him being careful with me, and careful always makes me want to be brave. The station's lost and found is a room that smells like raincoats remembering their owners. Window B was a half door with a shelf that politely asked for elbows. The clerk looked at my ticket, then at me the way an aunt does when you show up with your hair combed on purpose. She slid a shoebox over the counter. Yours, she said, and then, you've got 5 minutes before the everyday people get hungry. Inside the box, a kitchen timer the color of a lemon, cheerful, honest, 2 paper good cups we had once starred with a gold sticker to make them ceremonial, and a craft notebook labeled in Jamal's block letters. Manual of claiming approved by no one. Under that, a smaller envelope also addressed to me with a scrap of tape inside and Jamal's handwriting on it. Stand here. Say where you are, not who you are. I stood in the tape square the clerk had silently stuck to the floor. I'm a battery at 52% pretending to be an outlet, I said. I answer texts with thumbs so my mouth doesn't have to show up. I want to go home and not act like a guest with excellent manners. The clerk nodded at the window like we were both watching a play neither of us thought would end badly. Second square arrives at 10:10, she said. Don't be late. Jamal arrived at 10:09 with the kind of smile he uses when he chooses tenderness over cleverness. He set his palms on the counter, took a breath that moved more than air, and said, "We're here to claim our minute." The clerk slid the lemon timer between us like a passport. He turned it to 4 and placed his hand between my shoulder blades, exactly where the back forgets it belongs to the heart. We stood there with the city's affidavit pouring through the doorway, scooter asking permission, elevator making decisions, a laugh that sounded like it had just been told yes, and we didn't narrate any of it. When the timer chimed, Jamal nodded toward a bench marked reserve. 8:07, someone's municipal vandalism I wanted to applaud. We sat. 2 truths, 2 questions, he said, honoring the ticket like a contract from people we still liked. Truth, I said. I took extra projects because calendars don't reject you, they just become evidence. I looked at the scuffed floor and made myself keep going. Truth, lately I've been more hall monitor than host. Even I wouldn't want to come home to me. Truth, he said. I started sending thumbs-ups because the icon can't be disappointed in my timing. He inhaled. Truth, I miss the way you used to drop your keys on the counter like a flag, not a retreat. He tapped the bench. Questions. When did you stop knocking on the kitchen doorway? I asked. You always used to knock even when I could see you. When silence felt safer than being told I chose the wrong moment, he said. What would you ask for if you didn't apologize first? Your hand at 8:07 every night for 4 minutes, I said. and that we talk like inventory, not litigation. 3 facts, 2 fears, 1 request. He smiled, the one with the vowel that sounds like a velvet door opening. Inventory doesn't bite, he said. Then his questions. When did you start texting later when you meant not today? When I convinced myself that postponement was softer than honesty, I said. If you came home at 8:00 with no explanations, he asked, what would you want me to do first? Put your hand where my breath lives, I said, and ask for stupid help. Hold the bowl, sit here, put your hand here. The clerk reappeared with the shoebox lid in her hands like a bell. Claim renewed, she said, and winked us toward the exit. At home, we set the lemon timer on the windowsill and stuck the tape scrap to the floor between the radiator and the table. Jamal fished a pen from the junk drawer and opened the manual. The first page had 5 rules, simple as the alphabet. Window 8:07 4 minutes, hand on back, no commentary. Inventory 8:12 3 facts, 2 fears, 1 request, no closing statements. Good glasses 8:20, even for water, we are company. No diagonals when we walk the block, we don't cut across the parking lot. Saved time not equal to saved heart. 11:11 receipt, 1 precise thing that mattered today. No resume. Under that in smaller print, his professor pencil had added, Article 0, clear language first. I think I loved him the most at that handwriting. We failed at once and then again, as if practicing failure were the point. The next evening I texted running late without I'm sorry, and he sent a photo of Article 0 underlined. I wrote, I'm sorry. I'm scared my email was mean and I don't know how to fix it without performing. He wrote, present/window 8:07. The map lit itself. At 3:15 the following day my phone buzzed with an alert that belonged to neither app nor guilt. Listen to 11 seconds of water. Then text, present/where. I played the laundromat recording I made during a week I mistook volume for identity. Present/bus stop, I typed. He replied, present/whiteboard, and I pictured him explaining slope to teenagers who needed a parable more than an answer. We chose a witness because marriages need a notary with muffins. We picked Gina from 2A, who bakes and minds her business with equal excellence. Once a month she texts, window, and we answer with 1 sentence each. She never comments. She hearts the thread like a stamp that says filed. We added a garage of excuses under the radiator. Park, it's nothing, and I'm just tired here. Retrieve only after reading out loud. The first time I slid I'm just tired into the envelope, it felt like hanging a coat I'd been wearing to avoid weather. We began a $5 duty-free on Fridays. 1 small, useless, beautiful thing on the table to name together. I brought home a green marble. He brought home a tiny brass ruler. We called them Soft Planet and Measure Kindly and put them on the sill. They supervised. Same house 1:00 became a rule scribbled into the manual in my own slanted hand. Hand on door, not handle. Say, I'm here. Only then enter. It changed the humidity of our hallway more reliably than scented candles ever had. We invented sink court for disagreements. We stand shoulder to shoulder at the sink and rinse facts before feelings. It sounds silly. It keeps knives out of hands. We coined bench law. Whoever finds a bag of hard candy on the neighborhood bench must share the jurisdiction. And we enforced it with the seriousness of children who understand justice better than flags. On a humid Sunday, we went back to window B with a bag labeled for whoever needs this minute next. We left a plastic pitcher, 2 star-stickered paper good cups, a photocopy of our manual, and a lemon timer with a note, borrow as needed, return when you remember. We locked nothing. The door understood. There were days the map felt like theater and we were understudies dropped into Act Two. On those, 8:07 drifted toward 8:17 or we fell asleep during 11:11. The manual didn't scold, it just waited like a coat rack. The napkin map on the fridge softened at the corners from being touched. The good glasses looked less like guests and more like staff. One afternoon I found a folded receipt in the jacket I wear when I audition for a different life. On it, in pencil because ink felt too entitled, I had written the sentence the claim ticket asked me to make. I confuse usefulness with love. I'm learning love on purpose. Under it, in Jamal's tiny neat print, I confuse patience with retreat. I'm practicing staying within reach. I slid the paper under the fridge magnet shaped like an honest chair. The house breathed. People ask, usually over drinks, as if cocktails were the currency of courage. What changed? Did we go away for a month? Learn new languages for grief? I tell the truth that sounds suspiciously boring. We reserved minutes and showed up. We learned to count without prosecuting. We made water a ceremony. We didn't cut across the parking lot. We let a neighbor notarize our attendance. We parked excuses and reclaimed them only after reading them out loud. We tried again at 8:17 when 8:07 got shy, and at 11:11 when the day agreed to be a minute long. Last week the moving company emailed to ask why we hadn't rebooked. I typed, plans changed. We were already moved in, we just hadn't noticed. I didn't send it. I didn't need to. I taped our claim ticket beside the manual and wrote a legend in blue pen. Practice isn't punishment. I want it tattooed in small letters somewhere visible, like the inside of my wrist, where a watch would go if I were measuring anything but mercy. Tonight at 7:05 we'll set our phones face down as if manners are still a technology worth learning. At 7:07 his hand will find its precise address, and the city will lend us a soundtrack. At 7:12 we will do our math without turning into accountants. At 7:20 water will again pretend to be champagne and succeed. If we miss, we'll do the only miracle that likes repetition. Try again. 8:17:11 whenever kindness opens the window. Window B taught us how to claim lost things. It turned out the only thing that wasn't lost was us. The